everyone. Welcome to the episode 2 of Ask Us Anything. In today's episode, we are going to ask Abdul Fatah many questions about how to start a PhD without a master's or directly after your bachelor's. He is the perfect guide for this session because he is currently pursuing his PhD in quantum computing at Atlantic Technological University in Ireland. And he got this fully funded scholarship based on his bachelor's in electronics engineering from Mehran University of Engineering and Technology, Jamshoro. Welcome, Abdul Fatah, and please enlighten us.
Thank you so much, Lala. Thanks for the introduction. And once again, my name is Abdul Fatah Jamro. And
Fatah, your voice is not clear now.
I hope it's clear now. Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. Once again, my name is Abdul Fatah Jamro, and I'm a PhD student in quantum computing at Atlantic Technological University, Galway, Ireland. And I'm co-founder of Quantum Beats, just initiative about my research. And my background is in electronic engineering from Mehran University of Engineering and Technology, Jamshoro. And this is the building of my university in Galway City, Ireland. Okay, and I would like to thank the organizers, Climate Action Pakistan, founder Lala Rukh, and Mehran Architectural Student Society, MAS, and her his co-founder, Majabin Memon. Thank you guys for organizing this session. And a little disclaimer about this session that we are not the admission consultant or any agents. We just organize this webinar just for the educational purposes. Okay, so the big question is that was in my mind since I graduated from Mehran University in 2016. So I was searching that is it possible to do PhD and skip master's degree? So because I was curious about research and I wanted to do PhD and I wanted to skip master's degree. So I started searching the answer of this question and I found that yes, is it possible in a lot of countries in the world that we can do direct PhD if we have bachelor's degree. So today's key takeaways are we'll discuss basic understanding of PhD, what is PhD, and then the eligibility criteria of PhD, which is different for different countries and different places, but we'll speak about it. And then the application process, which is more or less same almost everywhere, but it also changes from place to place. And then we'll discuss about the funding opportunities about the PhDs and challenges and consideration that if you really want to go for PhD, you should consider what challenges you will face and then the tips for the success, the what things or what factors can make you succeed for getting PhD directly and bachelor's. And then there I have some FAQs set up. I will answer the questions already. I know a lot of questions that we get from the people that are most common questions. So I will try to answer these questions at the end. And then maybe we'll discuss if there's any other question from the audience, we'll answer the question as well. So we'll more discuss on the eligibility criteria because this is the point that we are doing this webinar, that what are the eligibility criteria for admission in PhD. So the basic understanding of PhD, like what is PhD? So it is a doctoral degree uh, in which we bring some new research a new research contribution to a specific field of study. So this level of degree, which take around 3 to 4, or sometimes it's 5 years degree to do research on a particular topic, a particular field of study. This phrase is Latin, which is philosophia doctor, which means lover of wisdom. The doctor doesn't mean the doctor, but it means the lover of wisdom. So if you think you want to really research on some topic, then you should go for the PhD. And if you are capable enough and you think you can contribute to research community, this is the purpose of PhD, that you have to contribute some new ideas, some new thinking, some new theories maybe to research community. And this is the purpose of doing PhD. Then maybe we can divide PhD in two major types. One is research-based PhD and other is professional doctorates. So basically these two, the work is doing research throughout a given time period. But in research, you really work on some novelty in any theories, or you present your theories in general. But in professional doctorate, you have a specific field, or we say the applied field, just like you have to work on a specific project or a specific application of project, like an industry or any industrial sector. So that is called professional doctorate, which doesn't mean that you will contribute to the general theories in the research, but you will work on a specific application of any industry. But still, it is 3 to 4 years or even 5 years research. So this is a doctorate degree. And the examples are like the DBA, the Doctor of Business Administration, are the Doctor of Medicine, are the Doctor of Education, Doctor of Arts, Doctor of Engineering, and Doctor of Law. So these are the professional doctorate degrees, which are equivalent to PhDs. So it's at some places they are also called PhDs, but some universities or institute distinguish them from PhD and they name them different DBA or D. Ing, Doctor of Engineering, just like that. Okay, so then we'll talk about the eligibility criteria. Uh, this is the point which we'll discuss in detail. So I have put this section at the end of this presentation. So I skip this for now and we'll go to the application process. Application process for a PhD is more or less same throughout the I will say the world, but there are some common things, and and most of the time it slightly changes from place to place, from department to department, field to field. Sometimes, so the generality is like you identify where your programs are potentially offered. For example, if you're an engineer, if you are in arts, if you are in any specific field of science, so you have to make a list, you have to narrow down your um, field and the institutes or the research centers, and you potentially identify what universities, what institutes offer your programs that you are willing to apply. So first, shortlist, make a concrete list of your universities that offer your programs. And then once you make a list, then keep a keep a sharp eye on the deadlines and opening of the opportunities, opening of the vacancies if they are offered in spring or summer or winter or in um, uh, any session of the year. So you must be careful about the deadlines, or we say the important dates of the programs. So when it opens, when it closes. So when you make a list, make a column of the important dates and their procedure, that how you will start your application. Either it has to be filled on the paper, or it is online, or it has to be submitted via email. So this understanding is very important in application process. Then the third thing is craft the strong application package. For example, sometimes there is a admission form, then they ask for the statement of purpose, or we say personal statement. They ask for the CV. So you should craft everything in a very attractable way. Like you should have comprehensive CV. Like you should add your academic excellence, and that you should add your research excellence. You should add your professional work skills, and anything projects or many projects you have done. You have any publication in conference, or in, even if you have any article in newspaper or magazines, you should highlight these things in your CV, and you should prepare a good package of application to submit for the PhD. And most of the things are already required in the description, that what they want from you to submit in an application package. But apart from that, you should try to add the most relevant things that you think will help you to be successful in the application. So just like the strong recommendation letters, just like if you have any certifications of attending any conferences, any events, any workshops, any social work, extracurricular activity certifications. So you should make a concrete, a good package of your application to submit for the opportunity. And then the last thing is navigation around the application portal. So if the portal is online, you should read everything that is written in on the portal, like what they want, how they want, and in what format they want. Like if they want in the that you should send the email, and the whole package that you have crafted should be sent in the email. But what format of email? Either they want a subject line. So most of the time they say write a subject line in this way, in this format, so that they can filter out that your application is reached uh, where they wanted. Otherwise, if you craft a good CV, a good package, but you did not navigate it throughout the application portal, and you could not submit in a better way. So there are more chances that your application would not be visible to the, like the HR or the selection committee of the uh, university. So, Lala, have you raised the hand? I see your
Uh,
hand.
yeah, I would appreciate if you can please use a mix of Urdu and English.
ओके, सो यहाँ तक हमने बात की कि एप्लीकेशन प्रोसेस, जिसमें हमने चार चीज़ें डिस्कस की कि आप यूनिवर्सिटीज़ आइडेंटिफाई करें, प्रोग्राम्स आइडेंटिफाई करें, देन उनकी डेडलाइंस और जो प्रोसीजर है उसको समझें, क्योंकि एप्लीकेशन को समझना अपने आप में एक बहुत ही बेहतर चीज़ है। और उसके बाद आप अपना जो एप्लीकेशन पैकेज है उसको अच्छी तरह क्राफ्ट करें, उसमें मैक्सिमम जितना आपका पोटेंशियल है, जो आप समझते हैं कि दे विल हेल्प यू आउट टू स्टैंड एट द टॉप ऑफ द क्राउड। सो वो चीज़ें ऐड करें, पर्सनल स्टेटमेंट अच्छी तरह क्राफ्ट करें, अपनी सीवी जो है अच्छी तरह लिखें, बनाएं, और रिकमेंडेशन लेटर और जो एक्स्ट्रा करिकुलर एक्टिविटीज़ के सर्टिफिकेट्स हैं, अगर स्पेस है तो वो ऐड करें। उसके बाद जो है नेविगेशन जो आपका ऑनलाइन एप्लीकेशन पोर्टल है उस पे अच्छी तरीके से जो है उसको स्टडी करें, ताकि उनको किस तरीके से एप्लीकेशन रिसीव होनी चाहिए। अगर उनको रिसीव सही तरीके से नहीं होगी तो बहुत चांसेस हैं कि आपकी एप्लीकेशन उन तक पहुंचेगी ही नहीं और वो कंसीडर ही नहीं होगी। तो नेविगेशन इज़ वेरी मच इम्पॉर्टेंट in the application process. Okay, then we'll talk about the funding opportunities for PhD aspirants or the PhD willing PhD students. So there are different type of funding opportunities. Some are the research grants or fellowships. Just like कोई आपकी कंट्री की कोई बड़ी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, वो ग्रांट्स या फेलोशिप्स अनाउंस करती है। जस्ट लाइक आईबीएम हो गई, या इवन पाकिस्तान में काफ़ी ऐसे बिजनेसमैन हैं जो कि इवन ऑक्सफोर्ड में हर हर साल एक या दो स्कॉलरशिप्स वो है जो उनकी उनकी फंडिंग से होती हैं। तो इस तरह की ग्रांट्स होती हैं, फेलोशिप्स होती हैं जिनमें आप अप्लाई कर सकते हो वर्ल्ड वाइड। जिस तरीके से एशियन डेवलप बैंक हो गई, आईबीएम के कुछ प्रोग्राम्स हो गए, या फिर कंट्री गवर्नमेंट्स के प्रोग्राम्स हो जाते हैं, वो उनकी ग्रांट्स होती हैं, जैसे एचईसी की ग्रांट्स हैं। तो ओ, एक ये तरीका होता है फंडिंग का। देन द अदर इज टीचिंग असिस्टेंटशिप और रिसर्च असिस्टेंटशिप। सो you get admission in PhD, and then you have to teach some hours so that कि जो आपकी फीस है वो आपकी टीचिंग से कवर हो जाए, और कुछ अमाउंट उनके पास होता है जो आपको स्टाइपेंड में देते हैं। तो इट मीन्स कि आप पार्ट टाइम वर्क भी करते हो और अपनी डिग्री भी करते हो, जिसमें मोस्टली आपको जो है कुछ कोर्सेज अंडर ग्रेड स्टूडेंट्स को पढ़ाने होते हैं। तो उसमें कवर अप होती है ये मोस्टली फ्रॉम द डिपार्टमेंट्स और फ्रॉम द टीचर्स। दिस काइंड ऑफ अपॉर्चुनिटीज आर अनाउंस्ड। Then the third opportunities, like funding opportunities, are studentships, or we call them the university fundings, just like I am on the university funding. So university itself sometimes announce the funding to hire cohort of PhDs, like few PhD students on certain projects from the university fundings. So you get direct university funding for the PhD opportunities, just like I am on the university funding directly. So I get a stipend. My fees is waived from university, and I don't have to teach or anything. I just have to work on my PhD project. So this kind of funding opportunities are also available for the PhD applicants. Then, like, if you are aspirant, or if you are willing a student to do PhD, then you must consider what the challenges you will face, especially when you skip the masters. So you should know the depth of work that you will face in PhD. You have you have to produce some original results. So it's a good long-term commitment of around 3 to 5 years that you have to work on a specific field. Maybe you have to develop a new theory. Maybe you have to bring a novelty in any theory, or maybe there's any project that you have to finish within given time period. So must consider it that the PhD is a bit intense, and it really needs some efforts to complete the PhD project or PhD within time. But it is not the end of the world. Like when you work on something for 3 years or 4 years, so eventually, if you are consistent, you bring some good results, bring some original results to the research community. The second thing is time management and work-life balance. So it is very much essential for PhD students to manage their time and make a good balance of work and life. For example, if you are skipping few days and working hard and working a lot of time on the remaining days, like when the deadlines are approaching. So I think maybe I kind of this habit that I mostly work at the deadlines, but it is very much frustrating then. So work-life balance and time management is very much important in PhD. So we should develop these disciplines when we are willing to do PhD. And then the most important thing about PhD when you are doing PhD is mental health. When you work on a topic on when you are doing research and the results are don't come across how you want, so it is very much stressful and you get anxiety about um, the your work. So mental health and your well-being is very much important. Consider it when you are willing to do PhD. So you need to be very much patient. You need to be very much calm when you are doing PhD. So maybe sometimes things will not work, but eventually after your patience, after your continuity in your work, the results will come across, but you should be considering this, that the mental health is something, a factor is that should be considered. Okay, so then from my personal experience that I want to mention some tips for success. If you want to be succeeded in PhD funding direct from bachelor, so uh, you should build a strong set of skills in your area, whatever you are studying, maybe the arts, maybe the science, maybe the engineering. So must uh, build some strong set of skills in your specific field, not in general, but in a specific field. So the purpose is that you have to stand out, you have to be more brilliant than the master's students. Uh, this is the only thing that you'll be hired for a position, or you'll be selected for an opportunity. So you have to prove yourself with the skills. Then showcase things that you have, everything in your CV. So make a good CV, reflect everything that you have done, that you can do, that you are capable of doing anything. So the skills, the work experience, the research publications, and the educational background, the projects, the mini projects, the conferences you have attended. So everything should be reflected in your CV in a good way, that when a reader has your CV, he can navigate through your CV from top to bottom, and it should look good. So the reader may not skip your CV, but it can go through your CV from top to bottom. So you should craft your CV in a good way. And then the most important thing when you are willing to do PhD on bachelor's is to be honest with yourself and with the opportunity that you are applying for. For example, if you don't have skills that are needed in the opportunity in the announced PhD, so it's better not to apply in that. It's not necessary to apply in such a opportunity which is not related to your background, to your research. You won't be selected in that. It will only increase the work for the selection committee to to like filter out your CV from the the pile of the applicants. So be honest with yourself what skills you have and what skills are required for the PhD position or PhD application. So only when they match, it's better to apply then. Otherwise, it's better to develop skills, to develop or to increase or to enhance your experience or what things are required in application. So this is one of the way that if you think you are willing to do PhD in certain field, but the few things are not matching, but you can do that within given time. So you can apply for that. But if you're totally opposite to the opportunities, you should not go for this. And then the key uh, factor that is keep applying and never give up. I started applying for PhD when I graduated in 2017. I started preparing for GRE, for TOEFL, for other English tests. So I started my application process from 2017, faced a lot of rejections, and finally I was selected in a PhD in 2022. So there's a whole journey of rejections, and at the end, or finally, you get selected uh, for what you want. So as I said, we'll discuss eligibility criteria at the end because this is the main point we that we want to let you know that you are eligible if you have bachelor's degree, bachelor's honors degree, 4-year bachelor's degree from Pakistan. You are eligible to apply directly to PhD uh, positions at most of the places in the world. So the basic requirement for this eligibility is your academic excellence, your academic requirements. For example, you have a good GPA. It should be, yes, Lala, you raised the hand.
Yeah, I'm just conscious of time. Half of the time is already gone.
Yeah, I,
Okay.
yeah, the half presentation is already gone. Yeah.
Mm, thank you.
So the eligibility, the main thing is academic requirement, academic requirements, excellence of your academic work. You have good CGPA, for example, it should be more than 3 out of 4. Or most of the countries require you should have above 75. Uh, I don't know what's okay. It should be above 75 degree percentage in your bachelor's degree. You should have done uh, many projects, or if you have done final year project, you should have a good report of your final year project. And if possible, you should publish the work that you have done in final year project. So it's very necessary, it's very important, and it's a key factor that can be considered when someone want to hire you or someone want to offer you a PhD position. So your CGPA, your final year project, any other many projects you have done throughout your bachelor's degree, and the research work, it's very much important that you show some research work during your bachelor's degree that you have done something in research. So these are the basic requirements uh, for direct admission to PhD from bachelor's honors degree. When I say honors, it means 4-year bachelor's in Pakistan. Okay. Then the second eligibility criteria falls like you should have a good research proposal, or we call it a statement of purpose. So it must reflect that uh, you show some skills like critical thinking skills, so problem solving skills, research skills, writing skills. So these all skills should reflect in your research proposal. So they show like the academic excellence in your research proposal. And research proposal also like shows that you write that in a way that it has it shows the methodology that you will work on the project and PhD. So one thing is that you are preparing, or you have written a research proposal in a better way, in a good way as it is required, and it must reflect these skills within the research proposal, like the critical thinking, problem solving, research skill, writing skills. So these skills are very much important when you are going for direct PhD. And then the other things are like it is better to ask your supervisors or professors from your bachelor's degree that they write a good recommendation letter for you, and they recommend that they have um taught you or you have uh, did research under their supervision in bachelor's. So means you should have at least two or three, at least two uh, recommendation letters from your research supervisors or from the teachers from your university. Uh, they can be lecturers, they can be assistant professors, or it's better if they are professors. And if you have worked under their supervision. And then the very much important thing is English proficiency. So English proficiency, like English test, TOEFL, IELTS, or DET. So DET is Duolingo English test. And if you don't have these tests, then it's better to have letter of English proficiency, and that is given to you from your university. So if you have studied in any university in Pakistan and they and your medium was English, so they give you an English proficiency certificate. So you can apply on English proficiency certificate if your application stands out and the English is required. You English requires you to have TOEFL or IELTS or DET. So they will ask you and they'll give you time to appear in any test, but most of the time you are selected on English proficiency certificate. I know a lot of students that they don't have like a TOEFL or IELTS or even DET. I myself I have taken Duolingo English test. I have not taken IELTS. I took TOEFL, but it was expired. So later I took Duolingo English test because it is cheaper than Duolingo and IELTS. So I prefer, TOEFL and IELTS. Duolingo is cheaper. So I prefer Duolingo English test. So these were the eligibility criteria when you go direct for PhD degree from your bachelor's degree. Within Pakistan, if there is policy of having master's degree to get admission in PhD within Pakistan, but around the world, the policy is different from place to place. So if you're in Pakistan, you must have, this is the policy, graduate education policy of 2023. So it says you must have MPhil or master's degree to get admission in PhD. But I remember uh, back in 2020, I was selected. This is the screenshot of my email. I was selected or shortlisted by HEC on direct PhD in US. So there was a scholarship, US Pakistan Knowledge Corridor. I was shortlisted for this scholarship for direct masters in US, um, having bachelor's degree. But I couldn't went through this uh, in 2022. So later in 2022, I was selected for the PhD scholarship on bachelor's in Atlantic Technological University, and I got admission. It's fully funded. It's a research-based four-year project for working on quantum computing. So it means I started from 2017. It took some time to get admission in PhD directly on bachelor's. So it takes time. Meanwhile, you keep on developing yourself, you keep on building your skills. Uh, when you get good skills, then of course, at the end, you get selected. But I remember in 2021, HEC has had introduced this policy in Pakistan that one can do PhD direct after bachelor's, but it faced some criticism, and I don't know if it is implemented uh, in universities or not. But the policy was introduced in 2022 in Pakistan as well. But I'm not sure the implementation of this policy. As of report from 2023, it needs you should have master's degree for Pakistan. So the countries that offer PhD without masters uh, is like the US, as I was selected in US Knowledge Corridor for PhD directly to PhD from bachelor's. There are uh, different universities in US that offer PhD, direct PhD, and then you can go into Canada as well. Like they offer us, most of the time it's a bit difficult because it's more competitive, and even the supervisors that who hire PhDs, they want a person who should have masters. The only reason because the master student has more exposure to research. That's why they want to hire a master's student. Otherwise, the eligibility criteria is bachelor's in most of the universities in Canada as well. Sometimes they increase 1 year as a coursework uh, to do. So the PhD becomes 5 years. Okay, so it is also possible in Germany. It's not common. It's rare in Germany. Most of the supervisors want someone with good research excellence, good research experience. So, but it is possible. There are few universities that offer uh, direct PhD in Germany as well. And then the Australia is the University of Melbourne or other few universities. It is still possible in Australia to get admission directly to PhD from bachelor's. But as I said, it is not common. It is very much competitive for bachelor students to stand out among the crowd of master students. So you have to show very good skill set, as I mentioned earlier. And then even UK, even University of Oxford, I saw they have eligibility criteria that you should have bachelor's degree uh, with more than 75 or 80% CGPA, 80% and good CGPA. So even Oxford has eligibility criteria to have 4-year bachelor's to get direct admission. But there is also like you should stand out among the uh, most competitive students. Sorry. And the other example is like the Ireland. I myself, I'm here doing PhD and bachelor's. So there are different universities like Atlantic Technological University, MTU, Manchester Technological University, or other universities that offer, even most of the universities in Ireland offer PhD and bachelor's, but still supervisor want the student that have like good research experience if they don't have masters. So in Ireland, they say like you should have bachelor's honors 2.1, which means you should have 4 years bachelor's and you should have more than 60% uh, results in your bachelor's. So you are eligible. So this is the minimum criteria. So it is not the guarantee that you will get the PhD position, but this is the minimum. So now the eligibility criteria, you have like you have come across or come over the eligibility criteria, and now you have to stand out among the competition. So the bachelor honors, if you have, you can go for direct PhD in Ireland as well. Okay, so this was like about my presentation. And then there are some most frequent asked questions. We call it FAQs. So mostly we get questions like, is it possible to get direct admission to PhD program without masters? So as we described in this presentation earlier, that yes, it is possible, but you have to stand out among the competition. The lot of students apply around the world for the opportunities to get funded PhD. And if you are on bachelor, so you should be very competitive and very much uh, excellent and brilliant student, I think. What are the funding options available? Second question is for direct PhD. So the funding options are similar, like research grants, fellowships, teaching assistantship, research assistantship, university funding, presidential fundings. So there are there are a lot of different modes of funding for your PhD. So once you are eligible, I think the most of the funding options are available for you. The third question is, how can I balance research work and personal life? So, like I would say, so we should are like the PhD student should develop a discipline in her life in their life. So it is the only way that you can manage the research work and coursework and research balance and PhD during your PhD. What are the key factors that admission committee considers? So admission committee consider the minimum eligibility criteria, like in Ireland, for example, you should have 4-year bachelor's, which we call bachelor honors, and you should have minimum 60 percentage in your final results. So this is the minimum criteria for undergrad, and then you should show research experience. You should have published a research paper. Like I had only one research paper, and that was from my bachelor's thesis. So I published my bachelor's thesis work in a conference in Mehran University. So it was considered as a research work. And you should have recommendation letters from your teachers where you did bachelor's, and then you must write a good statement of purpose. And if there is any English test requirement, or submit a English proficiency certificate. So these are the key factors that the selection committee look for. How important is the research experience? It is important, but uh, it is not like the end of the world. So you should have experience, even if you publish your work from your bachelor's thesis, or you write any article in any magazine or even newspapers. So these are also considered like you have the writing skills. So what the supervisor want is like you should have writing skills, you should have research skills. So if you can prove that you have research skills, that is enough. What should I include in my research proposal? So your research proposal is like, sorry. So uh, uh, there are like two types. One, you yourself make research proposal. So or sometimes the most of the description is given that what the supervisor want from you. So you should follow the description, and you justify that you can do the work that is described in a very uh, well manners. So your research proposal describe like what is the research proposed and what methodology you will choose and how you will contribute to the research field. So these things are mentioned in research proposal, in my opinion. How can I strengthen my application without a master's degree? As we earlier described, highlight your research excellence, research experience, your publications. At least you should have one publication because from my personal experience, I had one publication. You should have good presentation skills. You should have good CV and a strong letter of recommendation from your supervisor from bachelor's. Then the other question is, what are the common challenges faced by direct PhD students? So the common challenge is like balancing research and coursework, because from bachelor's direct to PhD, like it is a major transition from your structured educational system to research educational system. So you should have like balance. You should have to learn how to do good research and adapt new ways of and new academic environments. And maybe you will feel stressed when you won't get the results, required results. So a work-life balance is very much important. And then how can I find a suitable PhD supervisor? And when you shortlist the universities, you go to the faculties. Most of the university websites have their faculty on their websites. Go search, look for their profile, and what profile matches you. Search them on LinkedIn, search them on Google Scholar, search them on different platforms, that you will get an idea what kind of person or what kind of personality that supervisor has. So this is the way, uh, like take their name from the website, look at their research work, look at their different, maybe LinkedIn profile, maybe their um, social aspect of their life. So this is a way, like I look at university website, then I go to Google Scholar with their name, and then I search on LinkedIn. So from these platform, we get to know a lot about any person. Okay, I hope I have answered many questions, but if still there is any question in your mind and you want to ask, you can ask. Um,
There's one question in chat about they have a journal publication,
yeah, then it's a very good result in research. And yeah, if you have
but
bachelor's,
the journal is not HEC recognized, but
uh,
it's still a journal. It's in a university journal.
so like it should not be the predatory journal. Like there are a lot of journals that are fake, that are not reputable. So the journal should be at least reputable. It should be recognized by HEC or by the universities. So because there exist a lot of predatory journals, and uh, they put a negative image on you that you have published research in a very bad journal. So journal should be reputable. I hope
Um,
I
I
answered the
have a
question.
question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so how did you gather the courage, or how should we be confident about our profile? For example, I have a paper or not, but still, I think it's a big leap of faith to be applying for a PhD, and just because it's not a common thing in Pakistan at the moment.
So as for me, I've faced a lot of rejections for many years. So somehow I learned the way that with every rejection, I learn what thing is missing. So I keep on improving the things. I keep on improving the skills, maybe the writing skills. I keep on improving what these skills are required, and I don't improve continuously. So whenever I see requirements are in the description of any opportunity, I try to enhance my skills. So this is the only way. With time, you enhance your skills. You try to publish your any work or any
बट
research
अगर
article.
टाइम ही लगना है तो इस टाइम में तो मैं मास्टर्स भी कर सकती हूँ.
Yeah, I would suggest, if you like, if you think you don't have enough skills, and if you
Mhm.
have any option to go for the masters, then I would say enroll the masters. But on other side, if you are working in any industry, so it's very, maybe it's difficult to do masters as well. For, just like me, I have a bit of industrial experience. So uh, when you are in industry, it's better to develop skills and keep applying for the PhD positions. So once you have good um, profile, but if you can build your profile within no time, within 1 year, within 6 months, you can be selected.
Okay, there's one more question in the chat.
Can you read out for me?
So if someone did the bachelor's in 2020, how can they publish in a journal?
Um, it's not like how they can publish, but if you have done bachelor's in 2020 and you like learn some skills, research skills during your bachelor's, even you can publish in a journal during your bachelor's. So this is just how to learn a skill to publish in journal. It's not like how can one publish
Okay,
in
there's
journal.
one
It's
more
not
question.
impossible. It's possible to do that.
Okay, there's one more question about the interdisciplinary admission. So somebody did a bachelor's in something else and
Yeah.
now they want to do something slightly different. So
Mhm.
can they do it and how would they do it? And the person asking the question suggests कि उनके पास एक बहुत strong motivation letter भी है but he is not sure कि he can go with that or not.
Yeah, you can go in interdisciplinary um, departments. Like my PhD is very much different from my bachelor's. My bachelor's in engineering, electronic engineering, and my PhD is quantum computing. So it's very much uh, difference from classical to quantum. So the only thing, if you justify what you want to do for PhD. So if you justify and you have good background, not the academic background, but at least you should have the knowledge about the subject that you are going to do research in your PhD. So it is very much possible. Just like me, I have bachelor's in electronics and I'm doing my PhD in quantum computing. So it's possible to to shift from one field to other field, but justify it, like prove it that you can do work in that field.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just one last note from you, Abdul Fatah, and then we'll close.
Okay. Uh, do you have
There's
any
anything
question?
you No, your ending remarks.
Okay. So yeah, I would suggest, like, if you are willing to do PhD, then there is possibility to be selected directly from bachelor's to PhD. If you are good enough in research, you should go for that. You should you can apply for masters as well, but it's better to do, if you have to do PhD, you go for PhD first, develop your skills, enhance your skills in research in your area, and it's not impossible. It's very much possible to get selected for PhD directly on bachelor's. So I would say keep trying and never give up. One, and at the end you will be selected, I'm sure.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Abdul Fatah.
Thank you.